Welcome to Cosmic Conversations. You are tapping in to the next to the highway, to the root of the symmetry, but trees grow everywhere. Through highways, next to highways, outside of highways, beyond highways. Highways are trying to reach trees. Okay? So, with you tapping into the root of the symmetry right now, we're about to simmer some trees. It is bright morning. It's really nice. I woke up at like 4 a.m. today. This spiritual awakening is lit. I need to do more cosmic conversations, bro. Because I've just been big in, again, like, spirit realm. Like, I've been getting so good at removing my mind from my body. Because I've been indoctrinated into this white supremacist society. So I was taught that I am the body, right? I'm taught by white supremacists that my spirit is the body. So now my mind is lost in light. And that's what being in school and everything has been. So now my spirit has been activating me and showing me everything that it needs to show me, all based on my ego at the right time. And I'm just naturally creating, and then my spirit shows me like, hey, what you naturally created is what you already been doing in past lives. And now I just get to have more awareness of how what I've already been doing as Chase Clarence Calloway this whole lifetime is only building upon what I've done before. You know, like, it can be nothing else. So the point of me as Chase Clarence Calloway, as Tahuti Trismegistus, as Hermes Thrice Great, as Mercurius Tur Maximus, as Idris, as Ningish Zeta, as Chikatet, as Irisel, as Symmetry. I'm here to spread the wisdom of just how individual we are. Because when you know that you are space, creating your existence through the elements and everything that I'm talking about with Hermeticism, and it's amazing. Everything that I've naturally just been kicking as Chase, my spirit just now, like only 2 weeks ago, really made the connections for me that it's straight up Hermeticism. Like, and this is the whole point of the awakening that spirits go through. I, as a spirit, purposefully shut off my awareness so I can relate with people on their level. And this is what we all do. So every time we're born into a new life, into a new world, we shut off our awareness. And that's what I learned by applying my mind to the English alphabet and creating dissected dialect. So it's just been a whole thing. Like, it's amazing how we create life. Like, literally, people inside of life will try to convince us that we're not creating life, but those are people who want to harvest the way that we create life. So everything that I've just learned, even over the past year in my time here in LA, staying with my friend Shauna, who I've learned is Sashat. So Thoth and Sashat are in here. Tahuti and Sashat are in here, bro. Like, straight up. Like, my documentarian is here. You can look up Sashat. She is the goddess of sleep, cannabis, and documenting light. Right? Because we all need photographers. We all need videographers. We all need someone to write down. I'm the scribe, but who's scribing the scribe? Right? That's where it gets meta. So, shout out my feminine counterpart, because she is very much my counterpart. She's like the opposite of me. It's not that she's my wife. She's literally like, the universe set up Sashat to be my opposite yet harmonious partner. So she's not a girl who's at all like me. Like, we don't have similar traits. We're not harmonious in that way. It's just then that when we come together, the way that we're so opposite, because this is a girl who I met in college. And when I was hanging out with her in college, freshman year, because she wasn't there for my other 3 years of college. She was only there freshman year. Then she came out here to California, where now I am. all these girls who I was hanging out with that weren't her, they kept asking me, Chase, why are you hanging out with her? Why are you hanging out with her? Back then, I wasn't spiritual. I was scientific. I was in school, right? So I was just like, it's a feeling. I get like, I feel connected to her. You know, like she was the only girl who wasn't chasing me. It's so weird that that's my name. But straight up though, like she's the only girl who like wasn't obsessing over me and like objectifying me, and she was way just like chiller and fun versus like a girl who is on some other stuff. So that was just already the start. Where back then I was like, even I could only kind of explain it as maybe past life connections. Like that's how subconscious it is. You know, when you meet someone and you feel so magnetized or polarized to them, attracted to them, that you just want to wait in that connection. That is literally someone that you know in a past life. Like that's someone that you've already built a relationship with. You built this R with. You built this water with. Bro, Dissect the Dialect has put me on a whole different level of communication. Watch Dissect the Dialect. Watch me go through the alphabet if you haven't. Straight up. Because my ability to articulate my mind with the English language is totally different and way more intentional and conscious after realizing what all these letters mean. And it took me dissecting the dialect, getting triple with the D. So to triple the C, apply it to the D, triple the D, cut up all this earth so that we can see how everything is connected and telling a story of spirit. And now we can more consciously tell our stories with the stories that we're using to relate with one another. Some of my trees. So this awakening journey has been remarkable. Like, it took me so long to get out of the unworthiness of being Thoth. And most people are like, oh, you're a god, but like now I can literally just explain this no other way. I can't be anyone but me. I can't be anyone but me. What I've done is my business. I stay in my lane. I am the fucking lane. I make all my shit, bro. I am the god of wisdom. I make my shit from Mercury, from my high perspective. I build simulations for us to learn about our nothingness inside of. And it's just so easy for people inside of simulations like this that I've helped set up, that Anubis and I and Sashat and so many other spirits have helped set up. It's so easy for white, light supremacist spirits to be in here, turn everyone dumb, and then tell spirits like, oh, actually you are the body, and this is what the body is. And then it's just all this infinite science shit that's using Hermeticism. They're using my caduceus. Like the fact that I've lived in this country this whole 24 years inside this medical system, and they're using my staff to practice medicine, and all of it is forcibly injecting you with heavy metals under fear of death from something that has a 99+% survival rate. Dude, white supremacist slavery at its finest. There's a question for Cosmic Conversations. Now, I'm wondering if I should start a new series where I do just hop on and go. Because the point of Cosmic Conversations is that I'm going off of questions that you ask me on IG. And in general, email. It's just I get them mostly through IG. And honestly, send them through IG, please. Because the ones I get through email, I'll miss. I won't see them until like even months later. I had to set up a specific email for that, which maybe we will. Maybe after episode 100, I'll set up a Cosmic Conversations email because we'll just keep blowing this up, you know? But I would perhaps need a new series where I'm not addressing questions. I'm just straight up like going off on things like this. But no, the point is that your questions guide me so I can just tap in and like channel whatever. This is a preface for the question because any simulation, any light that you're in, any body that you're in is only teaching you about your nothingness. So you as a nothing, you as a space, you as a spirit, you move a certain way. No one can see how you move. That's your emotion, that's your soul. So you make a body to show us how you move. And then that's how you animate your body with your feeling and your soul. You see how simple this is? You see how simple this is? This lifetime's crazy. It's literally taken me separating my mind from my body and hanging out with Anubis and hanging out with my spirits on Mercury, hanging out with the spirits who create nature, just as simulation spirits, hanging out with Atlanteans. Because you won't find this on the internet. I'm bringing this awareness here because I've been hanging out with them. Anubis made Atlantis, and Atlantis is a whole metaphysical space. So everything you look up about Mercury, about my space is Mercury, it's about being the messenger god, right? So that's where Mercury is my metaphysical separate space from everywhere in the universe. I own it. It's mine. And we purely create it because it's mine, but we don't make life alone. So it's made by me and all the death spirits, the indigenous spirits who like to go in and relate on going in and actually gaining true wisdom from going in. Mercury is the place where we, all as spirits, can go to observe the universe. And we can observe how all of the universe, no matter what we're watching, no matter how spirits feel about what they're creating it. No matter how spirits feel about their life, they're creating it. And then we just get to learn about the subconscious. We get to learn about how all spirits die. And then this is where we get death spirits and the concepts of what's happening right now, where I'm in this simulation because the way that this simulation is dying, the way it's transforming, is not harmonious, it's not good, and it is at the level of consciousness that it is able to be helped. Because what we see on Mercury, when we're observing all these simulations coming and going, is that all spirits create life. But if they don't feel like it, if they're unconscious that they're creating life, then I can't come down with my caduceus as Hermes and kick Hermeticism. I can't kick my systems showing them how they create life because they're not in the conscious place to even want to be responsible for that. You know, so then that's where down here we get religions where people, they can be in a religion that makes them not want to be responsible for their actions. Christianity is a perfect example. Like, oh, I give all my sins to Jesus. I'm not in control. I'm not God. I'm created by something else. And I can only relate with people who also feel like they were created by something else. These are people that I can't come to and show them how they create life. Because the way that they're creating life is that they want to feel like they're not. And I have to be wise enough as Mercury, as Hermes, as Chase Clarence Calloway, to know not to go into their reality and tell them how they're responsible for their actions. Because I'm the demon now. Now I'm the problem. This is why the truth is so negative, and why Mercury is like the most negative place in the universe. Because life is a lie. You feel me? The universe is a lie. The moment you start living life, you're lying. Because you're lost in the body. So on Mercury, the whole point is that like we're Earth. We're like Virgo Gemini mode, where we are creating a body specifically so that we can observe how others are lost in the body. And by observing how everyone is constantly lost in the body, because the universe is just one constant transforming body made up by spirits who want to connect with a space outside of themselves, now we can learn more wisdom about ourselves. Because if we just were creating simulations and living our lives and not observing people outside of ourselves, we're wrapped up in our own space. Because the fact is, you as a space, you can't perceive anything outside of yourself unless you literally really want to. I as Hermes, I as Chase, I as my own spirit, as my space, as Irisel, as Symmetry, as Tahuti, I can't perceive any spirit outside of myself unless I specifically create a simulation in the universe, where now I can be in the universe and I can observe all the simulations that other spirits are creating inside the universe. And then from there, I can scribe. And now I can logically chart out patterns and progressions and perceive new things and build up a whole library over eons based on how I am projecting my consciousness out just enough to observe everyone else's projections. Right? So I'm not projecting my consciousness out to express myself. On Mercury, we're not being seen. No one can see us. We see everyone on Mercury. We're invisible because we're in the darkness. We're the ones observing how everyone desires to express themselves. So then this is where we just learn about elements. There's masculine, the expression, and then there's feminine, the connection. And because spirits desire to express themselves, they desire to connect as far as they can express. And this is how most people connect. This is how most of us really connect as spirits. We don't want to connect with anyone that we don't feel like we can express our true selves with. Now, true wisdom is connecting with people that we can't, and then this is what life is, right? I'm really supposed to get to this question, but my spirit just wants me to go on this right now. This is what life is. We know that life needs balance. You just being in your space, that's pure desire. So you can think about your soul as your home. Your home is everything that you want. You're not going to have things that you don't want in your home. But the fact is, you only have your home and you only know what you want because you know what you don't want. So your home doesn't have what you don't want, but it is informed by the feelings of what you don't want. Right? So when you as a soul step outside of your space, when you see things that you don't like, that is only affirming you. Like, that's your spirit speaking to you. That's your space speaking to your consciousness, to your awareness, through your feeling, through your subconsciousness, that this is something you hate. And it's now a representation of how separate you are from the simulation. So, I'm saying all this because this is a question. Look. Dear Chase, I just finished watching your tablet talks, and I'm incredibly shocked just how much your texts have been Christianized. Me too. Thank you. You specifically call out this unity consciousness concept as a complete lie. Yes, I do. And it's annoying because when you look me up on Google, on the internet, just look up Thoth, Tahuti, anywhere, it's all about Hermeticism kicks how all is one. And you know what? I'm going to tell you how they're weaponizing the truth. All is one. Right? Right. You specifically call out this unity consciousness concept as a complete lie. Can you explain more about why you hate this idea of all is one? It's all I see when I Google wisdom about Thoth and Hermes. Right. Yet what you're saying makes much more sense to me as an individual. Doesn't it? Because when you're living in a white supremacist world that's telling you that you're not an individual, all you can do is just be more of an individual, And it's just funny because they'll use all this light and all these concepts to tell you why you're not an individual and why you should feel good not being an individual. And then it's easy to be like, oh yeah, I'm actually part of the oneness. I'm part of the whole. I'm part of unity consciousness. We all come from source. That's like something that the spiritual community is so lost in. It's so sad. Like, it's just all these like little children or whatever being like, we all come from source. We're all from one consciousness, and everyone's just so lost in light, right? So they're 30-year-olds, or 40-year-olds, or 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds, all talking about coming from one source, one light. So silly. It's so beyond childish, actually. And it's like, and I've been in these circles. I have people in my life who very much still think like this, who will look at me and still be like, Chase, you're a reflection of me. And I'm observing the energy I'm in right now. I'm very fiery. I'm angry right now. Because this is the point. We're all separate in our imagination. The moment you tell me I'm a part of you, the moment you tell me I'm a reflection of you, that makes me almost want to kill myself just to prove how separate I am. Like, that makes me just want to leave the simulation entirely. When you're like, oh, you're a reflection of me, I'm a reflection of you. Like, do not colonize my space. And I just want to leave and be a spirit again. Because it's just like, that desire to connect is so colonial and infectious, and I hate it. I hate it. This is why I don't have water in my chart. I'm like literally straight earth, air, and fire. So this is why I have water in my life. Like, I have so much water in my life. Anubis is my water. Like, I need Hermanubis. I need to be Hermanubis. I need Anubis. I need my dog, Max. I love him so much. He cools me down. Like, literally, when I get, like, stressed out, for me to just split my mind and fly to Atlantis and just chill in those waters. Because the wisdom of Atlantis, Anubis created Atlantis, and Atlantis is all about creating connections. And this is the wisdom that got me on this whole thing of, we create the universe because we feel like connecting. So Atlantis is our metaphysical space that is linked up with Mercury. So I, as Tahuti Trismegistus, I rule Mercury. I'm the god of wisdom and also the messenger god. I relay messages. So this is like my duality. As the god of wisdom, I observe and record. And then as the messenger god, I bring these observations and records to simulations that are in the consciousness to be able to accept it. So now I'm able to level up. I'm able to enter lots of realms and realities. I'm able to do my air thing and help other spirits die more consciously, help them connect with Anubis and thus connect with themselves better. So this is how we have our tiered system. I, as Mercury, fly out relaying messages, and then Anubis is over there in the death realm helping connect people once they get the messages. So if they can hear me, once people hear me as Tahuti, once they hear me, they can connect with Anubis. And that's the whole thing of like how we work together. So once a simulation is ready to die more consciously, they call upon me to kick Hermeticism. I teach everyone how to die more consciously. And then once they can separate their minds from their bodies, they can link up with Anubis, link up in the astral realm, and then get even more deeply connected to their spirits. And then this is how everyone would learn on a visceral level what I know. That we make everything I'm seeing from nothing turning into our imagination, and then us connecting with our imagination, which is us creating a soul, and then communicating our soul, which is our minds, then animating, and that animation, that consciousness, is what allows us to settle into these earth structures that now are animated by our consciousness. So like this body doesn't matter, right? All this matter, this physical stuff that you see and that you have a relationship with does not matter if I was not a spirit with specific feelings and memories that you can't see, and I was not animating it into this body. Right? So this is what we're doing forever. We're constantly learning about our relationships, we're learning about ourselves, and we're learning about each other day after day after day, based on how we feel like using our consciousness to connect our subconsciousness. And then we all learn about our unconsciousness. Because our unconscious cannot connect. Your unconscious will never experience what another unconscious has experienced. But your unconsciousness's experiences will be connected through the subconscious. So this is what Atlantis is. Think of Atlantis like the subconscious, where it's just pure water. It's pure feeling. It's pure soul energy. And the consciousness is pure separation energy. That's pure thought energy. So this is the duality. The conscious as separation, we're all separate. Like, as a consciousness, you can't tell me how I feel and how I think. The moment you tell me how I feel and how I think, you're projecting your limitations onto me. This is what white supremacists have been doing for centuries. Projecting all their limitations onto us as indigenous peoples, and then using that as an excuse to spread genocide and slavery. So this is what we have to know is consciousness. As spirits, we create connections so we can be appreciated for our individuality. And this is the duality of life, to make it as relatable as possible in English, right? We create connections so we can be appreciated for our individuality. There's no point in you creating a situation where you would connect with a spirit outside of yourself if you're just one consciousness. If you're just one, if you're all one, then why'd you connect? And that's how I have to see it when I know I'm separate from everything. When I know I'm the one creating these ideas of separate spirits, creating this situation where they can feel like they're all one. So when you look up my shit and see like, okay, Hermeticism kicks, everything's one. Yeah, water is one. Fine, water is one. So think of it like that, right? Spirits, they're nothing. And then our fire separates us, and then our water connects us. So our imaginations separate all of us from nothingness. And once all of us are separate in our imaginations, the only thing that connects our imaginations is what? Our desire to not be alone in our imaginations. So that's the entire universe in a nutshell. Like, the universe is literally one big body of water where spirits do not desire to be alone in their imaginations. And it's only possible, it's only being created by spirits being alone in their imaginations. Meaning that everyone is God. Everyone is constantly God right now. And everyone is constantly creating life based on their individual idea of what God is and their feelings about that. So if someone can colonize your space and colonize your soul in terms of like making you feel like you're not God, this is where they then use logic, they use their language, dissect the dialect, watch that. They use their language, they use English to teach you that they're your God. And now you're focusing on them and you're using your power to create life in their image. And then you wonder why you're a slave and why things don't feel good and why you're going through whack situations. It's because you're being taught to create life for someone who is killing you. They're not healing you. They're not helping you. They're not here to help us. All this technology, all this Martian technology that is destroying and causing climate change on this beautiful planet is clearly not helping us. There's no reason that this phone can't get wet. Like, why are we using technology that can't get wet? This is insane. The fact that I just now realized that shows how my mind is in a totally different space than it was even a year ago, even 2 months ago. It's going to be in a different space a month from now. So I'm leveling up, guys. Like, I'm leveling up. And I've been connected to so many people in this life. I've had so many relationships. And I don't talk to almost any of those people now. And it's like, I'm so happy. It has to be this way. This is Hermeticism. You have to love being alone and connecting with yourself. Because all these other spirits, all these other entities, all these light white supremacists will love to look like that they will love to appear like they love you. They need to appear like they love you so that they can connect to you. And all these entities who don't really love themselves will appear like they love you so that they can love themselves more when they're with you. But what you're going to naturally realize is that you're going to hate yourself more when you're with them, because that's just the balance. If they do not have their own self-sustaining simulation of love, then they're draining you of your simulation. So we all need to have our own simulations. This simulation hates itself and is teaching us how to hate ourselves so that we can just keep getting drained by it. And I just didn't realize how subconscious this was as Chase. When I was feeling like I need to fast in college and I need to like detach and clean my body and everything. It was all leading me up to this point, and this point, and this point, and this point of being even more connected to my spirit and knowing that I've been creating life and I create worlds and I've been creating so much before I made this life, made this body where I could get taught by people who are using my caduceus that I did not create my caduceus. Yet they're using it to create health problems inside of everybody so that they can then profit off of those health problems. But you're going to say that the item that you're using, the caduceus that you're using to push your healthcare alchemy was not created by a real spirit. Hermes Trismegistus is not real, but you're going to use all of his shit to colonize indigenous individuality. Okay. I'm upset. What is that? 50,000? 500 million? 500 trillion on my head is disrespect. Any amount of money on my head is disrespect. You thinking that you can put any kind of boundary on Mercury is disrespect. On yourself. And it's disrespectful for me to even step down and keep talking to you. Because I am I'm Mercury. So your boundary is not my boundary. Your boundary of looking at me being free and saying he's not free. What, like, yeah, I would be infinitely retarded for me to stoop my freedom to come down into your boundary and be like, I am free, and shackle myself up in your language. You know how many simulations, you know how many worlds are using wisdom to say wisdom is not real? You know, like, spirits are just lost in their desire, and this realm is no different. So, this is why I hate this all is one is idea. This all is one is idea company. This all is one idea is whack. Because it is only meant to erase your individuality. And it's meant to make you think that you'll feel better as something than nothing. So it's essential, really important to love yourself and know that you can create life, and you are creating life, or else you would not even be able to communicate in a body right now. You would not have created the circumstances for you to be able to be where you are, to be aware, to do what you do. It just would not be possible. So, when we're talking about upgrading our consciousness of how we do this, right, that has to do with language. That has to do with language. That's the point of us as spirits unconsciously creating life, and then after we create life and being inside of life, creating labels and terms and language that we can then learn more about ourselves in. And as we communicate with these labels and terms with each other and use this language to connect, we can learn more about how we even created the situation where we could connect. So now we can connect even more consciously. Now we can upgrade ourselves even higher, because we are able to use the things that we created from our desire to connect better. And then from there, we just constantly create new words, create new structures, create new bodies that express our desire to vibe. And then it's all a vibe, right? So this is why all simulations exist inside the universe, because the universe is just one vibration. It's one vibe nation. It's one vibrating nation of individuals who want to connect their imaginations, their inside imaginations, their eye mages, their singular eyes, their eye mage. Like, they have a singular image. They have one picture that only they can see, but they want a space outside themselves to see it. They project it into the universe. And the universe is a space that is outside of all of ourselves. So all of us as individuals, we create the universe. So now we can ignite our individuality into it, and then we can connect with each other in all these infinite grounded ways, like me speaking on the internet right now. This is Cosmic Conversations. Much love to you. I think this is 49, right? Next episode is 50. That's lit. I wonder if we'll do something special. I don't know. This episode felt special, honestly. So, I love you. This is why I hate that all is one stuff. It's all colonizer. It's all meant to make you ignore how you create life. And it's cap. It's cap on your spiritual powers. We're not here for it. You know that you're God. You're a spirit, creating your imagination, and then your soul, and then you communicate it, and that's how we build structures. And these structures all have to transform, and this is how we die. And once we can do it consciously, then death is an illusion. And now we're just transforming, and it's lit. Much love. Peace. Mwah!